Hi, everybody. I'm Ricky Nelson. I have a deal with my mom. She lets me eat chocolate cake if I brush my teeth with Listerine Antisime toothpaste.
Listerine, the most widely used antiseptic in the world, and Antizyme, the first all-day anti-enzyme toothpaste, presents The Adventures of Ozzie and Harriet, starring the entire Nelson family. Here is Ozzie, who plays the part of Ozzie Nelson, and of course his lovely wife Harriet as Harriet Nelson. The older of the Nelson boys, David, appears as David Nelson, and his younger brother, the irrepressible Ricky, played by Ricky Nelson. The Nelsons' next-door neighbor, Thorny, is played by Don DeFore.
His Honorable Royal Master, David Nelson.
What the heck is this?
His Honorable Royal Master, David Nelson. Don't mind him, he's only my little brother.
This is what I call service.
Fellas? Oh, hi,
Hi, Pop.
What the heck is this?
His Honorable Royal Master, Ricky Nelson.
Well, that's okay, Stan. It's not in the rules. You have to wait on him anyway.
Leave him alone, will you, David? This is really living.
What's going on here? Our club is having our initiations, and Stan here is one of the pledges assigned to me. Stan, this is my father.
Oh, hello there, Stan.
I mean, he's not allowed to talk except to say, His Honorable Royal Master, David Nelson.
Hi, dear.
Oh, hi.
Lunch is ready, boys.
Mom, this is Stan.
Oh, hello, Stan.
And he can't talk. He's being initiated into our club tonight.
Oh, that's too bad. Whose idea was that?
Well, it's a regular procedure. See, if the pledges can't talk, then they can't complain about anything. Pretty smart, huh?
Sounds pretty dumb to me.
Nobody asked you. Besides, he can say something.
Hey, that's right. I almost forgot. Tell me, Stanley, who's the dumbest guy in town?
His Honorable Royal Master, David Nelson. Hey, wait a minute. You're only supposed to do the things I tell you.
I like this way better.
Well, anyway, your time's about up, Stan. You can go home and eat now if you want. Or you can talk, too. Honest? Sure. Well, do you have any liniment? My back's killing me. Why don't you wait for the initiation? You may have a spot where you'll need it more. Yeah, maybe you're right. Well, so long, Dave, and thanks a lot.
Well, wouldn't you like to stay and have lunch with us, Stan?
No, thanks, Mrs. Nelson. I gotta be hurrying home and get ready for the initiation. My mother's gonna sew a pie plate in the seat of my pants. Goodbye.
He's a nice boy. Come on, fellas. Say, David, you don't really paddle the boys, do you?
Oh, no, Mom. We just tell them that to scare them. We have a pretty rough initiation, though.
Oh, what do you mean?
Oh, it's a secret, Mom, but we all had to go through it.
Sure, it's like the college initiations.
Well, don't any of the boys complain about this rough treatment?
Oh, they complain if it wasn't rough. That's part of the fun of joining the club.
I'm afraid I just wouldn't join.
Harriet, we're a nation of club joiners. That's part of our American heritage. Boy, I never will forget some of our fraternity initiations in college. You sure were rugged.
Last month, we had a great initiation. We made the guys eat worms. You see, we dig up these worms out of the ground, then we put them in this big pan and blindfold the guy. Never mind.
I never will forget one part of this fraternity initiation of ours. They blindfolded us, and they took us out in the middle of the lake, and they put us up on this big high ladder.
In the middle of the lake?
It must have been pretty deep.
Well, it wasn't exactly in the middle of the lake, but it was in the middle of the winter. I remember that because the lake was frozen over.
They just leave you up on the ladder, Pop?
Not for long. They shook the ladder, and we all fell right down onto the frozen lake.
Holy smokes. Yes, holy smokes. Didn't it hurt you, Pop, when you hit the ice?
Oh, well, it was very thin ice, so we broke right through and went into the water.
Well, weren't you lucky?
It was pretty rugged, all right.
So was eating those worms. Well, it seems like an awful lot of misery to go through.
Oh, Harriet, not really. It all comes under the heading of good, clean fun.
Sure, we washed all the dirt off them.
I think the craziest part of our initiation was the paint. That they painted the fellows all different colors. Of course, it was paint that comes off pretty easily.
That sounds like a good idea. You must have had a lot of fun, Pop.
I'm sure. Falling in the icy lake, painting each other, it sounds absolutely barbaric. And just to join a club. You're in a club, aren't you, Ma? At Woman's Club? Well, if you mean the ladies' auxiliary, yes. But I'm afraid our initiation isn't quite so drastic. What do you have to do? Drink a cup of tea. Gee, don't they even put any mustard in it? I'm afraid we're just a bunch of sissies.
Well, that's probably why the membership is falling off. The initiation isn't tough enough.
Well, if you ask me, it's that dingy club room we have to meet in. That's enough to frighten anybody away. I don't think it's seen a coat of paint in years. Those worms were pretty frightening, too, boy.
Oh, why don't you cut it out? That's the oldest trick in the world.
What trick is that?
The one where you show them the can of worms and then blindfold them and feed them spaghetti.
Okay, blabbermouth, tell everything. Just when I had Mom worried, too. You want to know something? You sure did, boy.
Well, there's sure a lot of excitement around our house.
Really? What's going on?
Boys are having their initiation tonight.
Oh, yeah. I was talking to Dave and Rick about that a while ago. I was telling some of the crazy things we used to do when we were kids.
Same with us.
You know, the more I think of it, though, some of our initiations are really rough.
Well, I think ours are about as messy as they come. I came home soaking wet and absolutely covered with mud.
Really? What'd they make you do?
I had to push a potato down College Avenue with my nose.
Well, that doesn't sound so messy to me.
Well, it is when you come to an open manhole.
You should have seen me after our initiation, Thorny. My arms were black and blue. My nose was all red.
No kidding. They really must have given you a rough time.
Oh, it took me about 3 days to get all the paint off.
Well, wait a minute. I don't know what I'm laughing about. My boy Will's one of the pledges.
Oh, so what?
So what? Well, David's a full-fledged member. Not only that, I understand he's head of the initiation committee.
Well, what difference does that make?
Well, supposing things get a little out of hand. I hate to be a sissy about these things, but I want to make sure Will doesn't have too rough a time of it.
Oh, now, just a second, Thorny. The kids are all in this together. I mean, just because Dave and Will happen to be good friends doesn't mean that Will can expect any big favors from Dave.
Well, now, wait a minute, Oz. I didn't mean he should expect any big favors.
Well, just what did you mean, then?
Well, any crummy little favor will do. Making sure they don't run out of spaghetti before they get to it.
Stop worrying. When I was talking to Dave and Rick a while ago about some of our harrowing experiences, I could see that Dave was very impressed about the whole thing. Now, I'm sure they'll just have some sort of a mild ceremony.
You really think so?
Oh, sure. I mean, David is a real level-headed kid, and he's in charge of things.
Well, you're absolutely right about that level-headedness. And you know something, Oz? I wasn't worried about this at all.
Well, there's no reason why you should be, Thorny.
I wasn't. I have absolute confidence in David's judgment.
Oh, I think...
Well, Oz, I'll see you later.
Okay.
Oh, Oz, as I say, I have absolute confidence in David's judgment.
Well, yeah, I think you should, Tony.
I think he's a very sensible, level-headed young man.
Okay, Tony.
You'll be sure and tell him I said that, won't you?
Oh, yeah, I'll tell him you said that.
On a second thought, Oz, maybe I should tell him myself.
Will you stop worrying? I'll tell him, Thorny. Now, stop worrying, will you, boy?
Okay.
Initiation.
Oh, evidently you've been talking to Thorny. Well, Harry, don't let him worry you. He's concerned that maybe they'll be too rough on the pledges or something.
Well,
No, wait a minute, please. I mean, after all, David is in charge of the whole proceedings, and he's a very intelligent and sensible kid. Now, I'm sure he won't do anything dangerous to the boys.
Well, I wouldn't be too sure about that. You come on out and see what's in the backyard. Apparently those crazy stories you told him about your college initiation gave him a few ideas.
Well, look at all this paint, will you? And this is this heavy house paint, too, the stuff that doesn't come off so easily.
Well, it's the ladder that I'm worried about. Oh. You and your wild tales about putting the ladder up in the lake and shaking the boys off into the water.
Oh, well, that wasn't so dangerous.
Well, you said you fell into the icy water.
Oh, no, wait a minute, Harriet. I've been thinking that over a little bit. You know, it was a long time ago, but now it's coming back to me a little more clearly. And actually, we weren't out in the lake at all. They just told us we were. See, they had these oar locks, and they made believe that we were out in the lake. They made a noise like rowing a boat.
Well, didn't you know where you were?
Well, no, how could we? We were blindfolded.
Well, what did you fall into?
Into a big snowdrift.
Well, this is just terrible. What are we going to do?
Oh, don't worry. Just let me think about this for a minute. See, now, I told the boys about the paint, and here's the paint. I told them about the ladder and falling in the lake, and here's the ladder. Well, no, please. Will you stop worrying and let me think about this for a minute? Now, just... I mean...
Yes, dear?
Well, I've thought about it for a minute. Now let's both start worrying.
In the past, you could numb the pain of tooth decay, then your dentist could patch the tooth or pull it. But now, a new anti-enzyme toothpaste described in Reader's Digest stops the major cause of tooth decay before it starts. In tests, 9 out of every 10 people proved it. Reader's Digest names Listerine Antizyme toothpaste by name, points out that Antizyme has sodium dehydroacetate, the continuous action anti-enzyme found in no other toothpaste. The Digest article explains how this tasteless, odorless, invisible anti-enzyme is absorbed on tooth surfaces. It stays active 12 hours or more after each brushing, protects against tooth decay every minute, every day. Reader's Digest clearly states that other kinds of toothpaste, although called anti-enzyme, often lose their effect in half an hour or less. Protect your family all the time with new Listerine Antizyme toothpaste. Antizyme toothpaste protects against tooth decay every minute of every day.
Oh, Rick, have you seen David?
Yeah, he and Stan went out to get some more stuff for the initiation. Lucky guys.
Oh. Well, I'm not sure it's going to be so lucky for the initiates.
Oh, heck, I think it ought to be fun.
Well, I just hope that David and the other boys aren't too rough on the pledges. Sometimes those initiations can get out of hand, you know.
Your initiation was pretty rough.
Well, it may have sounded a little rougher than it actually was. I mean, I don't remember too many of the specific details.
You sure remembered a lot of them this morning. Think they push you off a ladder into a lake? I think that'd be a swell idea.
No, wait, Rick. Now, actually, as I think it over, I don't recall that it was really a lake, and it wasn't a very tall ladder. The more I think of it, it was sort of like a chair. Come in, Barney.
Hi, Oz.
Hi.
Hi, Mr. Thornberry.
Hi, Rick.
We're all set for the initiation?
Yeah, she's over there getting ready now.
Come on and sit down.
Thanks.
Well, I suppose the boy's kind of nervous.
No, not exactly, but his mother sure is. But I told Catherine not to worry. After all, his old pal David's in charge of it, and I'm sure his old pal David's going to take care of him.
And how?
Ricky, never mind.
Say, by the way, where is Will's old pal David?
He's gone out for a little while. Why?
Oh, well, I have a nice present for him at home.
A present for David?
Well, it's really nothing very much. I happened to be passing the camper shop, and I saw a pretty nice sports shirt I thought David might like.
Oh, well, you didn't have to do that, Thorny.
Well, I felt kind of guilty about forgetting him on Valentine's Day, so I thought this might make up for it.
You didn't get anything from me on Valentine's Day.
Ricky, why don't you go outside for a while, huh? Mr. Thornberry and I want to talk over a few things.
Okay. I'll see if I can find David and Stan. Maybe I can help him with something. See you later, Mr. Thornberry.
Okay, Rick. Say, where'd you say David was?
He and Stan Taylor are out getting some stuff together for the initiation tonight.
Oh. Say, Oz, are you planning to do some painting in the next few days?
Painting? Why do you ask that?
Well, I happened to glance over at your garage a few minutes ago, and I saw a ladder and a lot of paint cans.
Yeah, well, that stuff belongs to the boys in the club. I think it's part of the initiation.
Well, why would they be using paint?
Oh, well, they probably plan to dab a little paint on the new members. Not very much paint, of course.
Well, some of these new members must be pretty tall if they have to use a ladder to do it.
Oh, well, see, the ladder is part of the initiation. See, somehow, David got the impression that we used to use a ladder in our club initiations when I was a kid. Something about a boy climbing up to the top of the ladder and getting pushed off into the lake.
Well, Oz, that sounds pretty dangerous to me.
Well,
Where did you say David got this idea?
Something I said evidently led him to believe that that's what we used to do in our initiations in school.
Well, what was it you said that led David to believe this?
I told him that that's what we used to do in our initiations. I never thought the boy would take me seriously.
Well, Oz, I'm a pretty good sport about these things, but after all, pushing a boy off of a ladder into a lake?
Thorny, stop worrying, will you? I'm sure David wouldn't do anything like that. He's much too sensible. Besides, there isn't a lake around here for miles.
Well, obviously, they're going to use a ladder for something.
Oh, yes, that's true.
But as you say, David's a very sensible and intelligent boy. Not at all like his father.
I know what you mean, I think, and that's very true.
Well, he probably got some other reason for the ladder.
Certainly. What do you suppose it is?
They're probably cooking up some harmless prank to pull on the boys.
Sure. Nothing dangerous. They're just gonna have a little fun with the new members.
That's right. So I'm just wondering, do you think that ladder is safe there by your garage?
Well, I don't get you.
Well, I was just thinking, standing there, someone might trip over it, or if someone might even steal it. Maybe we could put it someplace where it's safe.
Yeah. I think I see what you mean. Maybe we ought to put it behind my garage.
Or better yet, let's put it behind my garage.
Yeah, that'd be a good place to hide it. That's hiding it.
Oh, no. We're just putting it away in a safe place.
A safe place where the boys can't find it.
That's right.
Well, come on, let's go before the boys get back.
I didn't realize they had so much paint.
Oh.
Looks like there's about a gallon for each new member.
Yeah, but it's very thin paint. House paint. I think they use some sort of a thinning substance. Besides, it comes right off with turpentine, They just, that is, I imagine turpentine, there must be something that takes this heavy house paint off.
They'll probably just paint the club's initials on the boys' arms.
That's all. Of course, they may use these large block letters, but all in the spirit of good, clean fun.
Sure. Say, Oz, you won't forget to tell David about that expensive gift I have for him.
Oh, no. Let's get the ladder.
I don't want you to get the wrong idea, though. I didn't buy David a present so he'd take it easy on Will.
Oh, no, I understand. Let's get
I just happened to be downtown, and I was passing the campus bribe, and... I saw this beautiful shirt there.
I hate to interrupt, but we better get this ladder in back of your garage before the boys get here, huh?
Well, Oz, don't you think we ought to take some of this paint with us? Just cluttering up the yard.
Oh, well, no, Thorny. The boys have to have a little fun. It's the ladder trick that I'm concerned about. Come on, grab hold of it. You get the head there, and I'll get this.
Okay. Oz, you might mention it, David, that the shirt is monogrammed and initialed, They're beautifully fitted.
Thorny doing out by the garage?
Out by the garage?
Looked like you were taking David's ladder someplace.
Taking David's ladder out by the...
Looked like you were taking it over to Thorny's garage.
Oh, David's ladder over by...
And then it looked like you were hiding it behind Thorny's garage. In fact, you were hiding it behind Thorny's garage.
Now, wait a minute. If you knew all this, how come you're asking me?
Well, I wasn't quite sure.
Yes, we were hiding the ladder. Harriet thought... Thorny and I are a little bit worried about Will and those other kids. I mean, we wouldn't want any of them hurt at this initiation.
Oh, no, of course not.
Dave?
Oh, hi, Pa.
Oh, hi. All set for the initiation?
We sure are.
Don't stay out too late.
We won't, Mom. Come on, lowest of the low. Okay, Dave. Dave? 1,000 pardons, Sahib. I meant to say, yes, O great and noble High Mogul, royal ruler of the land and sea and master of all the universe. Well, that's better. Come on, Gunga.
Why don't you tell him about the ladder?
Oh, well, I will when he comes back in and asks me about it.
Why didn't you tell him before he left?
Well, no, Harriet, I think this is better this way. It'll make more of an impression on the boy. I mean, I'm just going to explain to him that I don't want to be autocratic and tell the boys how to run their initiation. But on the other hand, I think there's a point where fun stops and you know, it gets a little bit too serious. And I'll explain to him I want the kids to have a good time and have a lot of fun and carry on with their initiation. But I just feel that this ladder business is too dangerous. Somebody's liable to get hurt.
Is that what you're going to tell him?
Well, yes, at first.
Well, you
Then-
better start shouting because they're just pulling out of the driveway.
Dave? It's getting awful late. The boys ought to be home by now.
I hope the initiation was a success.
I just wish David hadn't taken off before I had a chance to explain about the ladder.
Or maybe Thorny's heard from them. Come in, Thorny.
Go on in, Thorny.
Oz? Oz, it's a disgrace. A terrible disgrace.
Hi, Thorny.
Hi, Harriet. Oz standing before you as an indignant parent.
Wait a minute. Sit down, indignant parent, and tell me what you're so indignant about.
My boy Will got home a few minutes ago, and Oz, you should see him. Covered from head to foot with paint.
Well, no, wait a minute, Thorny. I told you they might dab a little paint on the pledges.
Oh, they didn't dab a little bit on him. I think they dunked him in it.
Was it a pretty color?
He matches our yellow curtains beautifully. I want you to know, Oz, I'm charging you for the paint remover.
Well, now, just a second. I'm sure Will wasn't the only one. I'll guarantee you they painted the other kids, too.
I don't think there was enough paint left for the other kids.
Hi, Dave. Oh, hi, Pa. Mr. Thornberry.
Hi, Dave.
Hi, Mom.
Where the heck have you been?
At the initiation.
Well, you look as if you initiated yourself.
I practically was.
Well, I thought you were in charge of it.
I was. We decided to do something helpful this year instead of just horsing around.
Something helpful?
Oh, yes, sir. I figured, I don't mean to sound disrespectful, but just because they did corny things in the old days at initiations, there's no reason why we should. So we got to thinking maybe we could use the initiation for some kind of good cause. So we painted the club room at the church.
You boys painted our club room?
Well, it was sort of half and half. Half the paint is on the club room walls and the other half is on us. We did the best we could, though.
Well, I think that was a wonderful idea.
And so did Mr. Hopkins, the school principal.
Oh, did you suggest the idea to Mr. Hopkins?
No, Mr. Hopkins suggested the idea to us. Anyway, it was a lot of fun.
Oh. Well, David, it looks like I owe you an apology.
I'm afraid I owe one to Will, too. I didn't like to do it, but it was the only way.
Well, what do you mean, Dave?
Well, I didn't like the idea, but we had to sit on the new member's shoulders to paint the ceiling. Somebody stole our ladder.
Ladder?
Yeah, I had a ladder out by the garage, but somebody swiped it. I'd gotten another one, but we didn't have time.
Well, that certainly was a dirty trick.
Oh, it was a dirty trick.
Have any idea who these hoodlums could be?
The hoodlums could be?
Well, we aren't sure, but we kind of think it was a couple of the older fellas.
I'd say that was a pretty good deduction.
Well, the only trouble is I borrowed the ladder from Mr. Dunkel, and I have to get it back to him.
Well, don't worry, dear. I'm sure it'll turn up. Won't it, Ozzie?
Yeah, sure.
I hope so. I have to buy him a new one if it doesn't.
Say, Oz, let's take a run over to my place. There's something I want to show you.
Oh, yes, it's good. We'll be right back, Harriet.
Pop?
Yes?
Mr. Dunkel's gone away for the weekend, so just put it in his garage.
Boy gets more like his mother every day.
sometimes you learn the most from words you aren't supposed to hear. Poor Marge. She'll never hold a man until she does something about her breath. Until she does something about her breath. Does something about her breath. Research shows that there is a direct connection between germs in your mouth and unpleasant breath. Listerine Antiseptic, the most widely used antiseptic in the world, kills germs instantly. Kills them by the millions. Listerine's germ-killing action works in 3 places. Stops bad breath where it's most apt to start. Your teeth, your mouth, your throat. In actual scientific tests, Listerine Antiseptic stopped bad breath 4 times better than toothpaste, 4 times better than chlorophyll. So every morning, every night, before every date, gargle with Listerine Antiseptic. It kills germs instantly by millions. Make Listerine Antiseptic a friend of yours for keeps.
Ricky, don't be such a tightwad.
You know the terms, David. Take 'em or leave 'em.
It's only $3. If you don't lend me the money, I can't go to the dance.
Well, you know the terms.
Okay, it's a deal.
Okay, here's your $3.
Now remember, it's only for 24 hours, Ricky.
Ricky, wait a minute.
Okay. O royal mogul, master of the land, sea, and all the universe, I am your servant.
The shoes, boy.
Pa coughed and Ma coughed and Junior caught the sniffles. Bill sneezed and Jill wheezed and Sister went ka-choo. They called up the doctor and asked for his prescription. Here's what he said to do. Buy Listerine, try Listerine, bite off germs, gargle Listerine. Buy Listerine, try Listerine, keep my spleen without a septic Listerine.
Next week, The Adventures of Ozzie and Harriet, starring the entire Nelson family. Ozzie, Harriet, David, and Ricky will be brought to you by Hot Point Quality Appliances. Remember, look to Hot Point for the finest first. The part of Stan Taylor was played by Orly Lindgren. This is Vern Smith speaking. Don't forget that a completely different episode of The Adventures of Ozzie and Harriet is heard every Friday night on radio. Consult your newspaper for time and radio station.
Isn't this nice? We've got our pictures on the cover of the March issue Red Book magazine. It's on your newsstands right now. Oh, and there's a nice story inside. It's called The Girl That I Married, and it's by my favorite author.